It's the TEFL Express podcast, brought to you by TEFL Express, your partner in the world of teaching English as a foreign language. For all the latest and greatest in the world of TEFL training and materials, please visit our website at teflexpress.co.uk. Enjoy the show!
Hi, this is the TEFLCast, and today we have a couple of guests with us. These are two people who've never been on the show, so we're very excited to speak to them today, and we're going to get a lot of information about Vietnam, and I'm very interested in hearing about it. First, is it okay if I get both of you to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. I'll start out if that's okay, Liz.
Please.
Okay. So my name is Nathan Bayerlein, and I'm the academic manager for Schools Link, which is a subsidiary of Language Link. But yeah, so my history is, this is I guess I'm moving on to the 7th year I've been teaching. And I started, about 6.5 years ago, just in Saigon as a teacher with kind of a strange program I don't know, it's one of those things like when you start out in this industry, often you start with kind of shady companies, so that's where I started. But progressively got better and better gigs. And so I moved to Japan and then South Korea from there, and then traveled around South America for a bit and was doing some working there. But the money's not great, but it was really fun, really interesting. And then I moved back to Hanoi and worked in the Schools Link program for 1 year, and then got promoted. And so this is my 2nd year running the program.
My name is Elizabeth Fontana. I'm a teacher with Schools Link. This is my boss, Nate. I've been teaching for about 10 years, much like Nate, started with my own shady company in Japan, the infamous Nova.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then went from Nova to the Czech Republic, teaching adults, and then from the Czech Republic to the Middle East, teaching ESP and EAP, and then decided to come back to kids. So I've been teaching kids with Schools Link for the past 1.5 years at one of our largest schools, a private school.
You know, between the two of you, you guys have quite a lot of experience, and that's great. It's interesting just to hear all the different places you've both been in the TEFL field. A lot of people, I don't know the reason why for this, but a lot of people, they just want to try it out and maybe only do a year, a couple of years, but generally in one place, So it's great when you see people who've been in it for a few years and they do try a lot of different places. But that's perfect. Like between the two of you, you guys have covered a lot of ground and a lot of experience. It's really, really interesting.
Well, I think the field is kind of changing a little bit because, a lot of the people I was talking to when I first started, it was kind of like this thing they were going to do for like 6 months or a year. But a lot of the teachers that we hire now, even like first year teachers, they're kind of thinking of it as more an option that they're going to do for 3 or 4 years, or even like a kind of a career path sort of thing.
I agree. A lot of the people that I've met who have been TEFL teachers for a long time, and especially in the Middle East, you meet people who have got 20 years experience in TEFL. And everybody seems to have fallen into it. Nobody grew up saying, I want to be a TEFL teacher. But I think the reason why people stay in it is a really dynamic industry. There are a lot of different places that you can go, but there are also a lot of different areas that you can get into with teaching English. And when you look back at the job opportunities like that I would have in America, TEFL seems like a much more attractive field. Money-wise and challenging-wise, interest-wise.
Definitely, and you're so right. What you said about it's not an industry that many people think I'm going to like. They don't plan to get into, because I know I certainly didn't. It's really funny actually. The way I got into it, more or less, was boredom. as bad as that sounds, like I was in Canada, and I've certified in a lot of different things. But the way the workforce was there, at least at the time, it was hard to get into those fields. Like, maybe not so much get into them, but get into them in the areas I lived, and in order to really get into them, you had to be willing to move way up north in Canada and, be willing to give away 3 years of your life just to get that experience. And then you'd be able to take a pick at jobs other places. And anyway, I just saw, teaching abroad as an opportunity to do something else, see another place, and I never would have thought that I'd still be in the field, this many years later. I guess I've been in it for just about 10 years. So yeah, I never would have thought that. It's such an interesting field, I guess. Like just the whole way it works, and I definitely love it. I really do. So it's so nice to get to talk to and meet other people who share the same interests and just kind of fall into the career.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was planning on like 6 months as well. It just sounded like something interesting. I'd done a lot of like traveling before, but never the teaching. And I knew a friend who was going to South Korea, and so it sounded like a good option. But I was working at a steakhouse in Chicago at the time, which was considerably better money than I've ever made at this. But it's it's not that fun. But yeah, I think that's how it started. And I'm a writer. It sounded like a good opportunity to like go places and. I don't know, expand my world a bit.
Yeah.
That's one thing on past episodes we've talked about on the TEFLCast is if you're into whatever you're into for a hobby or a side profession or, just enjoyment, whether that be like writing, art, music, photography, travel, the TEFL field is a great field to allow you to do those things. Like I like to write as well. It's something in every other job I've had, I wouldn't have had the time to really devote as much as I should to it. And I suppose I could have, but it would have left me with no other time, between work and writing. And TEFL gives you that ability. I love that aspect of it. And it's so interesting to see so many talented people in this field that it's just great.
Yeah, one thing we've been trying to do more lately is, because, like you said, like a lot of people have different talents, like hidden talents, like musicians and things like that. So, yeah, we've been as a program trying to like utilize people for that to give like workshops. Like we've got one teacher, Nurse, who is like she's a really talented musician, but also she was a
music teacher
for a number of years, like 6 years or something like that. But so
did concerts at Albert Hall.
Yeah. So trying to get her to kind of, and she's got great tips for how to teach music in class and things like that.
More than ideal. You have a talent like that within your own company. It's great for the teacher involved to get an outlet for their talent and their love, and it's great for the company too. I mean, it's just extra. I don't want to say selling points, but I mean in a sense it is. It's just extra things you can offer that another school might not, and that's so good. Like if you're able to do like workshops or maybe not even workshops, but just incorporate it into the classroom in general. Like it just adds so much more to the whole experience. Definitely,
we've got at the school that I work at, we have 8 teachers. It's one of the larger teams, I think, for Schools Link. But of the people that I work with, I've got an extremely talented dancer on my team, an extremely talented musician, another extremely talented visual artist, another person who does a lot of sort of three-dimensional art and just does a lot of creating. And to have that going back into the staff room after a class, to have that feedback and those kind of people around you, it's just very good for making a more dynamic lesson that appeals to more students.
It just adds to everything, top to bottom, in my opinion.